Israil Madrimov has just issued a stern warning to Terence Crawford, and it's clear he's not holding back. We all know Israil Madrimov might pose a significant challenge to Terence Crawford. Recently, Madrimov posted a training video that left many of us impressed by his skills and power, and now pros have also weighed in, suggesting that this could potentially be another tough fight for Crawford, with some even speculating that it might lead to a loss for him. Gabe Rosado shared his thoughts on a potential fight between Terence Crawford and Israil Madrimov, highlighting the challenges and dynamics of the matchup. He stated, referring to Madrimov, "He's a great fighter, and you know this is Crawford's first fight stepping up, and he's fighting a top dog, a champion. So, I think a lot of people favor Crawford. But Madrimov has the ability to set traps and not allow Crawford to get into his rhythm. Crawford is the type of fighter that dictates the pace and sets the tone of the fight. So, the matchup is really good." He acknowledged Crawford's reputation and skills, but also emphasized Madrimov's ability to disrupt Crawford's rhythm and set traps, making it an intriguing contest. But let's have a look at the other side of the story. Terence Crawford is looking forward to defeating WBA junior middleweight world champion Israil Madrimov on August 3rd. If successful, chatter for a Canelo Alvarez versus Crawford fight will likely be on the uptick, and one rising boxing star, Kesan Davis, believes that not only will the fight happen, but that Bud has a real chance of becoming the first man to knock Alvarez out. Kesan Davis recently told Fight Hub TV, referring to Madrimov, "I think they will fight, especially after Terence Crawford looks great against this guy right here."
This guy look like he got like a little herky-jerky style, European style.
The European style, yeah.
Terence seen that before, but with just a bigger guy like this, and he's a puncher, I just feel like he's going to be more defensive. That's just my guess. But, as a fighter, he probably be more defensive, try to catch this guy coming in, something like that. He ain't really switched nothing up, you know what I'm saying? Terence always coming to fight ready, condition-wise and physical, you know what I'm saying? So, he know what to do for a fight like in this magnitude.
Kesan is highly confident that Terence is definitely going to win against Israil Madrimov.
He's definitely going to win. It's just going to be a tough fight. But, you can make tough fights easy. You know what I'm saying? So I won't be surprised if you go there and make it easy as well.
Yeah. Bomac said that earlier. And the only reason why I say provided he wins, because if I say he will win.
Kesan Davis's comments also reflect the growing anticipation for a potential showdown between Terence Crawford and Canelo Alvarez. He believes that after Crawford's impressive performance against Israil Madrimov, the momentum and demand for a Crawford-Canelo fight will become almost inevitable. He also stated in the same interview, after that, it's going to be almost mandatory for them to fight. Furthermore, he said, two men are going to have to want to fight each other. It can't just be one man. So after Terence Crawford proves himself, then Canelo should be up for it. Davis underscores that both fighters must be willing to face each other for the bout to happen, suggesting that Crawford's success against Madrimov could be the catalyst for Canelo to agree to the matchup. Canelo Alvarez fights at 168 pounds, while Terence Crawford competes at 147 pounds. This 21-pound difference is significant and presents a major challenge. Even great fighters like Floyd Mayweather and Manny Pacquiao faced limits when moving up in weight. Canelo has not fought below 168 pounds since 2019, and Crawford, who has never fought above 147 pounds, may struggle with the size disparity. Despite Alvarez being comfortable at 168 pounds and Crawford just moving up from 147 to 154 pounds for Madrimov, Davis believes Crawford's skills can get him over the line against Canelo and by a stunning knockout. Davis said, "It's obvious, Alvarez has the size advantage, but size don't mean everything in the fight." Kesan Davis made these remarks while discussing the potential matchup between Israil Madrimov and Canelo Alvarez. He acknowledged Alvarez's size advantage, but stressed that size alone is not enough to guarantee victory in a fight. He added, "You gotta bring more to the table than just size, than just power, than just speed. You gotta bring a lot of things to the table when it comes to a fight." Furthermore, he expressed his point of view by saying, "I think he can knock out Canelo, yes, for sure. And if he does that, that's going to be crazy. If he knocks out this guy that he has coming up, that's going to be crazy." Madrimov is a young, hungry lion. His comments reflect confidence in Madrimov's abilities, suggesting that Madrimov, whom he described as a young, hungry lion, has the potential to knock out Canelo if given the chance. Canelo has a 3-fight deal with PBC, with potential fights against David Benavidez and possibly Jermall Charlo. Crawford would need time to acclimate to a higher weight class and resolve his commitments, including a potential rematch with Errol Spence Jr. The timeline for such a fight may not align. Coach Bomac discussed the possibility of Terence Crawford facing Canelo in a future fight. He expressed confidence that if Canelo comes onto Crawford's radar, Crawford would consider the matchup after his current fight.
So, but as far as Canelo goes, man, I'm sure if it comes on his radar, he'd be able to entertain it after this fight. So, I wouldn't mind fighting.
Bomac also mentioned that he personally wouldn't mind seeing this fight happen, indicating a willingness and readiness from both himself and Crawford to entertain the idea of fighting Madrimov. Middleweight contender Kesan Davis, who has sparred with both Canelo Alvarez and Terence Crawford, shared his insights on how a potential fight between the two at 168 pounds might play out.
Will play a factor in that fight. It won't. It'll be a lot harder to damage Canelo. And Canelo his punches will be way more effective than Crawford's punches if they fight at 168. So I think it'll be an issue. It's not impossible, but it would be hard.
Davis acknowledged Crawford's impressive skills, but noted that Canelo's size advantage would make it a challenging fight for Crawford. While he emphasized that size isn't the only factor in winning fights, he pointed out that Canelo possesses both size and skills, which would make it a tough matchup. He stated, "Everybody knows that Crawford got the skills. I do think that Canelo's a little big for Crawford, and it'll be a tall task for him to win. It'll be a lot to get that victory based on size alone. Not that size wins fights, but when you got a guy that has size and skills, it'll be hard. I mean, nothing's impossible. But if I had my money on someone winning the fight, it would be Canelo Alvarez, even though Terence Crawford is a great fighter." Ultimately, Davis stated that if he had to bet on the outcome, he would favor Canelo, despite recognizing Crawford's greatness as a fighter. Should Canelo and Crawford fight in 2024? Maybe you're a diehard boxing fan, and you're already letting all the steam shoot out of your ears about the casuals you hate so much. But hang with me here. We'll get to it. To start, Canelo did field a question about Crawford at his post-fight presser, and he left it open. Canelo first said, "I always say if the fight makes sense, why not? But he's not in the plan." But Canelo also stated, "If it makes sense, maybe. I don't know right now." Canelo's statements suggest a willingness to consider the matchup depending on circumstances and potential benefits. Canelo Alvarez spoke about Terence Crawford, acknowledging Crawford's greatness as a fighter despite the significant weight difference. Canelo highlighted his experience fighting a range of opponents, including bigger and smaller fighters, and emphasized his readiness to take on challenging bouts. He said in an interview, "Crawford is a great fighter, obviously. He's 3 divisions below. As I've said before, I've fought bigger guys, smaller guys, older guys, younger guys. At the end of the day, I was born to fight, and I'll fight anyone. Obviously, on terms that suit me best at this point in my career. I'll always make the best fights, but they have to benefit me. It depends on the money, but why not?" Meanwhile, Israil Madrimov intends to spoil Terence Crawford's plans for a fight against Canelo Alvarez in early 2025. Madrimov lays it all out with his mental strength, confidence, and the support he gets from his entire country. Ideally, His Excellency should tell the fans that the Crawford versus the winner of the Madrimov fight winner will be the one fighting Canelo, because that would bring more drama and excitement to the event. He stated, "Obviously, we have some things that we've been watching. We're not going to talk about it right now, but also, with a lot of fighters, I believe that they're losing before even stepping into the ring. They're already kind of on the downside. With me, I'm mentally strong." Madrimov is gearing up for victory with a mindset of pure determination. He also stated, "I know what I'm capable of. I know how important this fight is for me, for my family, for the legacy, for the whole country. I have a whole country behind supporting me. So I'm definitely coming out there, and I'm going to do everything in my power to get the victory. My only thoughts are positive thoughts. I know what I'm capable of." Furthermore, Israil Madrimov reflects on the aspirations of every fighter to face the best in the sport. He acknowledges the widespread discussions about potential matchups involving top fighters like Canelo Alvarez and Terence Crawford. He stated, "Obviously, everyone's dream is to fight the best names, the best fighters, to get the best opportunities. I'm thinking about the task ahead of me, which is Terence Crawford. I see all the talks and everything that people are saying. Canelo, Crawford, talking about those fights. Maybe it's time already to talk about Madrimov versus Canelo. After the fight, of course, I'm going to look for the biggest fights, and the opportunity to fight Canelo is a special one. I would love that one right after Crawford." Madrimov emphasizes that while his immediate focus is on Crawford, he is also eyeing a future showdown with Canelo. This statement underscores his ambition to compete at the highest level and his confidence in pursuing the biggest opportunities in boxing. Many boxing fans aren't familiar with Madrimov, never having seen him before. They've seen the 36-year-old Crawford many times during his long 16-year career because his fights have been shown on ESPN. Israil Madrimov's trainer, Joel Diaz, believes that Terence Crawford will feel his power when he connects with his shots on August 3rd when they meet in a Riyadh season event. Diaz stated, "Now in front of him, he has a younger fighter, strong fighter, and very disciplined. Crawford has become reckless, wanting and needing the Canelo-Alvarez fight for that payday. So, he doesn't have time to ease his way into the 154 pounds division like a fighter normally would after being out of the ring for a year and reaching retirement age like Crawford. His Excellency Turki Al-Alshik wanted Crawford to fight Madrimov, and he wasn't about to say no, given that he's the one who can make the Canelo fight happen in 2025. So, Crawford is taking chances that a fighter his age and inactive during the last 4 years wouldn't take because he has no choice. If he wants the Canelo bag, he must fight Madrimov. Diaz further added, "When he's in the ring, he's very complicated. You can watch a video of Israil and give yourself an opinion, but it's totally different when you're in the ring with him. When you're in the ring with him, it's very complicated. Madrimov is hard to predict because of the angles at which he throws his shots and how he attacks. Crawford has never fought anyone with his style before, even though he's faced Eastern European fighters. They weren't talented like Madrimov and didn't have his power." Diaz emphasized Madrimov. "When he's in the ring, he's in great control. I've seen him in the ring spar against Dmitry Bivol when he was getting ready for Canelo. I was amazed. This kid is 154 pounds, and he's sparring a 175-pounder, and he's doing great. I don't know if Bivol was going easy on him or not, but that sparring looked great." A fight between Canelo and Crawford could generate substantial revenue. If both fighters successfully handle their upcoming bouts, the financial incentives could make this fight highly attractive. So, Canelo noted that while he is open to fighting anyone, the terms must be favorable to him at this stage of his career, with financial considerations playing a key role in deciding future matchups. If the financials and timing align, Canelo versus Crawford could indeed happen in 2024 or 2025. While there are significant challenges and considerations, the fight remains a tantalizing possibility for fans and could be a classic bout between two of the sport's best. Let's see what boxing pros have to say about this upcoming potential fight.
I wouldn't say it is because I know what it's like to give your all and make weight when you're younger. And as you get older, it don't get easier. But one thing that feels better is I don't have to lose so much weight.
Greg Hackett weighed in on the potential fight between Terence Crawford and Canelo Alvarez, comparing the situation to when James Toney moved up to heavyweight. Hackett said, "Canelo Alvarez is not a real 168-pounder. He's a guy blown up to 168 that can fight. It's just like James Toney going to heavyweight. He wasn't a real heavyweight, but he went up there, and because of his skill level, he was able to win." Hackett believes that a fight between Canelo and Crawford would be exceptional due to what would be at stake.
Real coming from 135 pounds, finishing out at 168 and fighting the real thing. But it could be a mistake too, but we won't know unless you got in there with him.
He continued, "Canelo Alvarez and Bud Crawford, to me, is a great fight because of what will be at stake. Bud ain't wrong for trying to fight Canelo and thinking about his legacy. If he goes up to 168 and beats Canelo at his weight class, that puts Bud in the top 5 probably of all time." Hackett emphasized the potential legacy implications for Crawford, suggesting that a victory over Canelo at 168 pounds would solidify Crawford's place among the all-time greats in boxing. Andre Rosier, a respected boxing trainer, expressed his concerns about a potential fight between Terence Crawford and Canelo Alvarez. Rosier acknowledged Canelo's resilience against powerful opponents and questioned the wisdom of Crawford taking such a fight. He stated, "I don't like it. Canelo hasn't been rattled by anybody, and he's been in with some big punchers. I don't like that fight for Crawford. If it's about money, it's a different story, but his legacy is being cemented in a fantastic way. I'd hate to see it tarnished by trying to do too much. I think he's already there. He's going to the Hall of Fame. His accolades have mountain-high stats to them. I don't want to see him get into a situation where he could get beat. He has to build up to it. I just can't see it." While noting that a bout with Canelo could be lucrative, he emphasized that Crawford's legacy is already stellar and cautioned against taking unnecessary risks that could tarnish it. Jacobs, who fought Canelo to a unanimous decision loss in May 2019, is giving Crawford a chance against Alvarez if the super bout were to ever happen. Jacob recently told in an interview, "Skills sometimes pay the bills, and we know for sure that Crawford has the skills over Canelo." He acknowledged Crawford's superior skills, but pointed out that Canelo's power, weight, and experience could play a significant role. Jacobs emphasized that while the fight would be a challenging test for Crawford, the real winners would be the fans. He also stated, "It's just sometimes power, weight, and experience may have a factor in that, so it will be a good test for Crawford, but I think the fans are the winner in that particular fight." After dominating the 147-pound ranks en route to being crowned the undisputed welterweight world champion, Crawford will get a taste for the 154-pound division via his bout with Madrimov. If the dream bout with Canelo would ever materialize, it'd mark Mark Crawford moving up 2 more weight classes to super middleweight. Considered the top pound-for-pound boxer on the planet by many fans and critics alike, Crawford has the superb boxing skills. The power to withstand Alvarez's punch at 168 pounds remains to be seen. Jacobs believes Crawford versus Madrimov will be a good indicator. He stated, "This will be a good test for Crawford," and added, "This upcoming match for him." Canelo Alvarez commented on the speculation about fighting Terence Crawford. He expressed respect for Crawford as a fighter, but found the discussions about such a matchup somewhat unrealistic. He stated before fighting Charlo, "I respect Crawford. He's a great fighter, and I always say that. No disrespect to him, but sometimes it's a little crazy. People are talking about me facing a smaller fighter like Charlo, who is big, and then everybody's talking about if I'm going to face Crawford, a fighter at 147. Canelo pointed out the size difference, as Crawford competes at 147 pounds, which makes the idea of them facing each other seem impractical to him. But let's see what Terence Crawford has to say about all this situation, and why he wants to fight Canelo. But Crawford, who was there to watch the fight, he gave his remarks before the fight night, and revealed his intention to fight the winner.
What's up, bud? What's up? The undisputed one. What's happening?
Good.
What you think about the fight tonight?
It's gonna be a good fight. It's gonna be a great fight.
Looking for the winner?
Definitely. Definitely.
I saw you out there playing football, bro. I know you can run and pass like that.
I'm an all-around athlete. There ain't nothing I can't do.
So what you doing there? Enjoy yourself since winning the belts?
He was there to watch to the fight, or maybe observe his next opponent, but he didn't give any prediction.
I really don't have no prediction. I think it's gonna be a great fight. I think Charlo's gonna come to fight. I think Canelo's gonna come to fight, and it's gonna give a fun, fan-friendly fight. May the best man win.
After that, in an interview, Terence Crawford discussed his future plans in boxing, focusing on making decisions that will enhance his legacy and financial standing.
Vegas or
I don't know.
would that be your choice? I know it's one fight at a time, but if you can map it out, would that be your choice?
No, it'll be everybody's choice.
He explained that while a fight with Jaron Boots Ennis doesn't make the most sense for him right now, a matchup with Canelo Alvarez would significantly boost both his legacy and bank account. Bud stated in a recent interview, "Where I'm at right now, I'm looking at the fight that makes the most sense, and that's not Boots. Canelo is going to bring way more to my legacy, way more to my bank account. Because at the end of the day, when boxing is done with, what will we have?" Crawford emphasized the importance of making strategic choices that will have lasting benefits once his boxing career is over. Terence Crawford also addressed the complexities of arranging a potential fight with Canelo Alvarez. He acknowledged that for such a fight to happen, Turki Alalshik would need to agree since he holds significant control over the financial aspects and other logistics. He said, "Canelo would have to agree, I would have to agree, and Turki Alalshik would have to agree because he'd be the one dishing out the money. So there would be a lot of moving parts involved in that fight." Crawford pointed out that numerous factors and moving parts would need to be considered and aligned to make the fight a reality. Gabe Rosado shared his opinion on the potential fight between Terence Crawford and Canelo Alvarez. Rosado believes that while the fight makes sense for Crawford due to the potential financial gain and exposure, it doesn't benefit Canelo. He explained in an interview, "If you're in Canelo's shoes, Crawford has nothing to lose. If he loses, he's not meant to fight at 168. Nothing to lose, everything to gain, because it'll be the biggest payday and gives him an opportunity to fight the face of boxing, Canelo. It's a win-win situation for Crawford. But for Canelo, if he beats Crawford, well, you're supposed to beat Crawford because he's a smaller guy. But if you don't win, it's like, you know what I mean?" He highlighted the asymmetry in stakes, noting that Canelo is expected to win due to the size difference, but if he loses, it could harm his reputation. He also stated, "I don't think it makes sense for Canelo. It makes all the sense in the world for Crawford, though. I would prefer seeing Canelo fight the guys in his weight class. There's talks of Baranga, Eubank, who knows who he's fighting next." Crawford has been undisputed in 2 separate weight divisions, most recently welterweight after his last contest last July. That saw him break down and stop the formerly highly rated Errol Spence Jr. in a super display that got him back to the top of the pound-for-pound rankings for many boxing fans. Now, speaking on his own podcast, Carl Froch on Fighting, the Cobra has given his prediction for the fight. Carl Froch shared his views on a potential fight between Terence Crawford and Canelo Alvarez. Froch praised both fighters for their skills and achievements, noting that Crawford is one of the best pound-for-pound fighters, and that Canelo has an impressive record with only a few losses to elite opponents. Froch said, "Crawford, what a fighter! Pound for pound, one of the best, Canelo. What's he had 60-odd fights? He's only lost to Mayweather, and he stepped up to light heavyweight and lost to Bivol. But I think Canelo is too big for him. Crawford coming up from 147 up to super middleweight to fight a unified champ like Canelo, I just think Canelo is too big for Crawford. However, Froch believes that the size difference would be a significant factor, with Canelo being too big for Crawford. Despite this, he acknowledges that both fighters are equally matched in terms of skill, mindset, and overall ability. He also stated, pound for pound, not much in it. I think if you put the best part of Crawford in with the best part of Canelo, skill-wise, ability-wise, mindset, heart, everything you need to be a professional boxer, I think they're on a level playing field. They're both brilliant. Carl Froch provided his insight on the potential outcome of a fight between Terence Crawford and Canelo Alvarez, considering the impact of weight and power dynamics. Carl Froch added, I just think Canelo beats unless somehow Crawford manages to come up to the weight and hold his power of Canelo comes down and is drained a little bit, like Gervonta Tank Davis did with Ryan Garcia. When you've drained yourself down, you're not the same machine in the ring. So, yeah, I think Canelo beats Terence Crawford, but that's just because of the size advantage. Otherwise, it's a draw. Froch's assessment highlights the significant role that weight and conditioning play in boxing, suggesting that the size advantage is the key factor in favor of Canelo Alvarez in a matchup against Terence Crawford. However it might go, this is a fight that many fans would love to see, should a sensible weight be agreed. As the boxing world buzzes with speculation about a potential Crawford versus Canelo showdown, opinions are divided, and the excitement is palpable. Both fighters bring incredible skills and a legacy of greatness to the table. Will Crawford's speed and agility triumph over Canelo's power and experience? Or will the size and strength of Canelo prove too much for Crawford to handle? One thing is certain, this fight would be an unforgettable clash of titans. What do you think? Would Terence Crawford's skills be enough to overcome Canelo Alvarez's power and size? Let us know your thoughts in the comments below.